Hello and thank you for joining us on the Thursday edition of Journalist Hangout. I'm Binga Oreshegun. Today on the program, NNPCL hikes petrol pump price to 933 naira per litre in Lagos, 960 naira in Abuja. President Tinubu directs suspension of cashless system at airports over gridlock. And later on the show, Kano State House of Assembly serves impeachment notice against the Deputy Governor Aminu Abdul Salam. Well, I'll be hanging out with Babajide Kolade Otitoju and Adeni Ifetayo, who's making his debut on the show. He is an award-winning celebrity journalist and publisher of Megastar magazine. He's also the president of Society of Digital Newspaper Owners of Nigeria. It's good to have you on the show, Nee.
Same here.
So good to have you here, so good to have you on the show. What do you think about our studio?
Amazing. The first time I came here, I was like, well, we now have our own CNN in Nigeria.
Far better than CNN.
Yes,
Far better than CNN. All right, gentlemen, Journalist Hangout starts right now. Now let's begin the conversation. Every naira spent at the fuel pump tells a larger story of global forces meeting local realities. Nigerians are now paying significantly more to fuel their vehicles as the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited has raised petrol pump prices at its retail outlets across the country. In Lagos, the new pump price stands at 933 naira per litre, a jump of 103 naira from the previous rate of 830 naira. In Abuja, motorists are now paying 960 naira per litre, up by 85 naira from 875 naira. The price adjustments observed at NNPC retail stations across both cities followed Dangote Petroleum Refinery's decision to increase its ex-gantry price to 874 naira per litre. This development is a reaction to rising global crude oil costs, driven by escalating tensions in the Middle East. BKO, experts blame this rising petrol price on the war in the Middle East, but many are wondering, why this quick and drastic?
This is how the world usually reacts to disruptions such as we have seen in the Middle East. Iran has closed the Strait of Hormuz, which accounts for 1/5 of the global world supply of crude oil. And this in itself has led to higher freight costs, and these adjustments are happening everywhere. It's not just Nigeria. Brent crude, so this afternoon was at $85 per barrel. So naturally, once oil prices go up in this manner, you begin to see stakeholders adjust accordingly. Pump price will go up. So because many people believe that at this time they shouldn't implement an immediate adjustment because you argue that they were using whole stock.
Exactly.
Well, this is not how our friends in the oil sector, this is not how they operate. You can see Dangote increased this gantry price by 12%. NNPC to quickly adjust it. We have no choice. We have to adjust to the current realities. But as I've said before, our country will earn good money at this time, just like other countries that are oil producers. But inflation will be worsened at a time when we are beginning to jubilate that The
Number is
inflationary trend is
dropping.
going
Yeah.
down. Transportation costs especially go up. You now need to spend more money to fill your tank. So it's a bittersweet taste. It leaves a bittersweet taste in the mouth because the country will make money. Our oil reserves our foreign reserves will naturally go up. But how about the ordinary man?
Ordinary people.
The ordinary man will suffer. The ordinary man has to spend much more money, and people are struggling with their disposable income already.
Yes, exactly.
So it's I don't want to say it's an unfortunate situation because any situation that ensures that our country can make more money, you cannot say it's a bad situation. But I'm worried for the ordinary Nigerians because this is not what they want to see.
Exactly. All right, me, with Nigeria now refining locally, why are petrol prices, still highly sensitive to global oil price fluctuations?
Nigeria is one of the oil-producing country, and we have a quota that is expected from OPEC that we must, export, and because of that, and that is why there are some sector that whatever affect some of the key players indirectly will affect some of the people that play in that sector, and Nigeria is not an exception. And just like Bika said that Strait of Hormuz has been closed down, which account for about 20% of global supply. And of course, it's just a pity that sometimes, thank God, somebody is saying that thank God Dangote refinery is there, which we cushion a kind of some effect. But I fear that NNPC can still take some bullet for some time, but it was just a quick response for them to just increase the pump price, just like Bika said, that is the ordinary Nigerian that's going to feel the pains. And like they said, where two elephants fight is the grass that suffers, But I feel that NNPC can still readjust and come back and say, we are producing this thing locally. Most of the need of Nigeria can be refined here. So let's take care of our domestic need. Yes, of course, the cost of freight, insurance, ship, and all of that to supply OPEC community that needs our fuel. Those ones, they can, top it up. Just like you said, Nigeria are going to make more money. But what are we doing for the revenue? I call this just like, I call this rainy season for Nigeria.
Boom.
Yes, boom, man. So what are we going to use?
Opportunity boom, okay.
Yes, opportunity boom. So what is government going to do to make sure at the local level they feel the impact, the market women, because anytime they increase pump price, the commercial motorists immediately, and some people, they also hold this looking at it whether it's going to increase, so that they can set at the higher price. I think this is high time government to need to come and say this is the situation we find ourselves. I believe government has not done enough when it comes to information, especially NNPC, to say this is the reason why we are doing this, but in this other way you are going to get a kind of relief. So, but I'm not seeing that, I'm not hearing that, and I think they can do more by engaging the media.
How do you think the government can cushion the impact of this rising?
Honestly, I don't know. The sector is already regulated.
Because we can't talk subsidy again.
Yes, you can't. You can't. So there is nothing they can do at this point. They can't go back to paying subsidy. That one is water under the bridge. It's gone. It's gone forever. There are other ways by which government can ease the pain of our people. Big countries of the world place great accent on transportation subsidy. This is what we are not doing. In the UK, they take it seriously, and their transportation system works for everyone, works effectively.
It's one of the best.
Yeah, at least that we've seen. They still have a lot of gridlocks and all that, but the buses work, and when they are supposed to get to your station, you will see them, and it's subsidized. So because they know people need to move around, people need to go to work, and their disposable income shrinks every time transportation costs go up. So this is what we are not doing. I would have expected that the government will invest heavily in what's it called? CNG. Roll out those buses and then get the private sector to manage those buses, because we know that government doesn't do this well. Get the private sector to manage those buses. Let people pay at a subsidized rate. Transport costs, let take off part of that burden. I tell you, the kind of money that people spend on transportation and feeding effectively wipes out their income. So many people are struggling to cope, and they must still pay rent. So government has to intervene in these areas, transportation and housing. We must get to that point when people can, when mortgage can get better and get more popular in our country. As we speak now, how many people are really using mortgage?
I like the fact that you talked about mortgage.
Yes, because it eases your pain.
Yes.
What to pay is spread over a long period. So you can then focus on other things. Putting your children in good schools, eating well and all that. So those things, you prioritize those things, and you'll be able to save a little money. But living in Lagos, the kind of rent that people pay, the kind of transportation costs that people bear, leaves them with nothing to take home. Talk about take home pay. Leaves them with nothing to take home.
Cannot take them home anymore.
They can't go home with their take home. But it's not supposed to be like that. So for me, the government should be able to invest in high capacity vehicles. Subsidize. I know that BRT is still subsidized, no doubt about it, but we need a lot more. And we need smaller vehicles that can pass through the inner city roads and all that, because we don't have that. Yes. So those small vehicles like the Korope, you know, those ones too can be on CNG, that can run on CNG. Government should invest in them, get the private sector to manage those vehicles for them. So this transportation thing, we must intentionally try our best to ensure that we ease the pains that people go through commuting from place to place in our country. Ask any of the staff here the quantum of money that they spend to come to work.
Transport.
Because even if we put many buses on ground for TVC staff, you can't carry everybody.
Yes.
Some, maybe when the bus is passing through their area, they are not even ready. So they still have to find their way to work. So this is an area where government really needs to do a lot. We can't do anything about subsidy that has been removed.
Exactly. You can't go back to that.
You can't go back. You can't go back. If any politician promises that he will go back to subsidy, know that that politician is a liar. They all promised to remove it anyway.
Exactly. They all did. They all did.
So,
I mean, your part, just in 10 seconds.
Yes, talking about transportation, they should invest heavily. CNG, I knew during the subsidy saga, the rollouts on CNG buses and all of that, they can be intentional and do more about that. And not just only that commute within the city. I think interstate too, they need to do more. Yes. I was in Austria, and there was a market. They located it far from the main city. So what government did is that they make available, if you are going to that market, if you are living in that area from city center, is free. We can do that. People travel from here, or they walk from Ibadan, they stay in Ibadan, or their family there, they come to Lagos. or train and say maybe on Monday, instead of paying 2,000 naira, for example, they make it half. But those are the things that government can roll out and state can partner. Don't just say because this one is APC and this one is PDP state, therefore we can't work together.
We are all Nigerians at the end.
Yes.
All right, let's move straight to our next conversation. Good intentions